today's video, I'm going to be showing you a wintry design that looks like a nail is being knit with knitting needles. It is so quick and so easy. It is one of those designs that looks a lot more complicated than it really is, and as long as you pay attention to the directions that you're twisting some gel, it goes together so quickly. I hope you guys love this design as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe so my future videos as well. Bye!
So we are going to begin with an overlay of a cover pink acrylic. So this design could have easily been done 100% in gel, and for that purpose I'm going to go through, and anytime a gel product could be used instead of acrylic, I will go through and I'll let you guys know. Obviously for this one, if you wanted to do an overlay in a builder gel, a sculptor gel, a poly gel, acry gel, blah 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 blah, that's a cover pink color, absolutely use that instead if you are a gel person. I always say a gel person or an acrylic person because typically people are one or the other and they just gravitate towards something. After that nail's been filed into shape, apply some matte gel top coat, cure that, and then on a nail form backing, we're going to be making our knitting needles. This is a time when, once again, I'm using acrylic. I'm a self-diagnosed acrylic person, and so I'm going to be using acrylic for this. With that being said, if you wanted to use something, I would certainly recommend that you could use a 4D gel or a poly gel, acry gel type product. So to make the knitting needles, all you need is to make a long, thin line of whatever product it is that you're using, and make sure that it tapers off into some sort of a point on the end, and it has a kind of like a stopper on the other side, or a head on it, like a head of a needle. So after you have the first part sculpted, the long narrow part, you're going to add a second little bit to it just on the end. If you are using acrylic like me, set the bead of acrylic down, let it set up for just a second, and then press it up so that it has some height to it. Once that's done, we're all done. And now I'm going to be switching to some 4D art gel. This one is from Glitz Accessories and such, and I'm going to be rolling it out. I take a little bit at a time, roll it out into a really, really, really long, narrow snake. Try to make it as uniform as possible and make sure it is nice and long. It's going to end up being folded over, so whatever length you want the knitted portion of the nail to be, you need these sections of long, skinny, pink snakes to be at least double that length, if not longer, so that you have some extra to work with. That one that I was just rolling out ended up breaking in half, and I decided it really wasn't long enough to start with, so I grabbed a little bit more of my 4D gel and I'm going to roll it again. Making sure, like I said, try to keep them as uniform as possible. Whatever thickness you rolled the first one, try to match it for the second and the third. If it isn't 100% perfect, it's fine. You know, it's all good. I know even sometimes when I don't knit, but I do crochet. When I've crocheted within a skein, I've had yarn that it's like the weave loosens in a certain section, and it does end up looking a little bit looser or bigger. So if it ends up looking like that, it's fine. So then once you're done, you're going to grab one of your knitting needles. You're going to hold it very carefully in your fingers, and you're going to grab one of your snakes, and you're going to drape it up and over so it's halfway. It's folded over the needle at the halfway point. Unfortunately, it is hard to see. I do make it a little easier to see in a second. So then you're going to gently pinch the ends of that yarn together, and they're going to stick to themselves, and then twist. Once you have the first one done, pay attention to whether you're twisting counterclockwise or clockwise. That is so crucial to this. So just make mental note of which way you twisted. Grab your next line of yarn, drape it up and over the knitting needle, making sure not to touch the first one that you did. So drape it. Once you have it lined up so it's nice and even on there, you're going to gently pinch it down, then twist in the opposite direction. So you're going to go back and forth, and either think of it as to the left or to the right, or think of it as clockwise and counterclockwise, but just have a way of knowing how you're twisting so that you can alternate. So after you have your next one done, you're going to gently pinch it. Exactly the same process, making sure not to touch the first two, and then twist in the same direction as the first one you did. So it is in every other process. Once you have all of that done, you're going to set your needle onto the nail, and then you're going to make sure that your little bit of knitted material is draped over the top of the nail exactly how you want it. You will have to gently press it onto the nail. Do not press too firmly where you're going to end up smushing the pattern you just worked so hard to sculpt and create, but you want it to be smushed on enough that it's not going to fall off the nail. Take a spatula and you're going to cut the extra gel off of the tip of the nail, and then cure that first part fully. You don't want to let it just sit there. You need to make sure that you go ahead and get it all cured up and finalized. You're going to repeat the process for the second side. Now, this one gets a little trickier because you have to pay attention to how many. So if you have three sections of yarn on each side, if let's just say clockwise, if on the first needle you did two that were clockwise, so you did clockwise, counter, and then clockwise again. On the next one, you're going to have to do the opposite. So you're going to do counterclockwise, one clockwise, one counterclockwise, so that when you line it up, the every other part of your pattern continues from one side of the fabric to the other. So you have to know what your pattern is and pay attention to it and keep track of it so that you don't end up with a slightly inaccurate looking knit material. Once that's done though, go ahead and cure. I personally don't feel like this needs any paint or anything else. I feel like it's done. I love it. It's warm and cozy and it just makes you feel like winter is approaching. I actually had this idea back in probably April last year, and I was so disappointed because it wasn't going to be seasonally appropriate. And then as soon as it was like, yep, I'm doing winter nails, you guys, this was the first one on my list to do. So I hope you guys are as excited about it as I was. It was so easy and so quick once I got to working on it, and I will see you all next time. Bye.